C t-shirt, foie gras sucking on a press release, sir. My head down, fourth shot, good little sheep, sir. Sit down, sweetie, the adults are gonna speak first. They trust the science and they're terrified of research. Here to thank our healthcare heroes, they've been feeding to the burnout, feet first. Until suddenly they dip mid-shift, take a header off a bridge. Such a shame, they were really such a sweet nurse. Now they'll never get the card and the cold slice of pizza meant to thank them for their teamwork. Now they'll never get the baggie full of checks mixed, which would be the one reward they'd see for the moms they had to intubate. And the countless cries of grief since we've been haunted by the specter of the C-word. Now all the applause for our healthcare heroes rings a very hollow note because we played it out like Freebird. See, add the ones and zeros in our fragile checks and balances, or checks for all the wealthy who have such unholy talents that we think it's patriotic that we all got zero balances. And re-elect Pelosi so she'll face our toughest challenges, which is analogous to water for a drowning man. Nancy disregards our impoverished with a spiteful and dismissive little waving of her withered hand. Cause 500,000 freezing on the streets is Biden's winter plan. And I bet you swore they told you you were voting for a different man. But really all you wanted was a different man. It didn't make a fucking difference if he finishes the previous inhabitant's agenda and starts auctioning protected land. Biden's born to leap at any war a donor's check demands. Turns out that you can't cure greed once it infects a man. Once they lose respect for human life and focus all their fucking efforts on the oil baron rescue plan. Honey, what are we to Hecuba or Hecuba to us that if she's starving we should give a damn? Why should we be moved to tears if someone isn't eating? We won't even recognize that food is essential to our being. It's just us and motherfucking Israel who will not guarantee that food's a basic human right. Because starvation is our favorite tool of genocide disguised as sanctioned democratic healing. That's me in the corner, losing my religion, gouging out my eyes and then dancing on the ceiling. Jesus fucking Christ, what a feeling.
Hey, what about you, eyeballs? What did you see?
That's how it goes. We won't open our eyes, so we're the last ones to know. We're the last ones alive. Kept our enemies close. Wondered why we don't thrive while we're grasping at ghosts. Counting backwards from 5. Counting backwards from 5. Counting backwards from 5.
Count back from 5. The theater on fire, the cast on strike. The studio stock starts taking a dive. The contract's tossed and they're gone with the tide. The heads and execs, their hands are tied. We can't pump this dreck and treat you, right? But what do you expect from the industry type who survive by the leeching of bodies and minds? From those who original thoughts never seem to find. So they're gonna reboot ALF before your wages rise. And it gives cause to pause and reflect on the times. If they're losing control of their fools and their mimes, when all those obedient actors who grew their careers by averting their eyes are now holding the line, along with the authors of countless scripts that strengthen the hand of that corporate grip, squeezing our throats till we take the pen and we accept and consent to the corporate drip. Till you're all up to date on your pharma du jour, till you got a healthy support for the war on your lips. And now you know that the advertisers need more than a rerun summer full of flashback clips. Enter the scans from the year before, all the days of de-aging and mapping the face, and the hours of actors recording their voices are links in the chains that will bind them in place. Now all of those shows are so easy to make. When they got a drone they control that needs no brake, it can bend, it can break, and it's cheaply replaced enough up-to-date films all in one take. And those studios bank on us doing our duty, unhinging our jaws and digesting the fakes, because they know that we'll love how synthetic it tastes. Watch as they edit your features without any trace. Not that there's anything you could do anyway. Now watch as they show you a movie you used saying shit you would never say. Dystopia boldly accelerates. Maybe you're only a mold, something to fill with a clone, something that Elon would celebrate. Something they own, something they program and code, something that's woefully able to know it's exanimate. Cause it doesn't feel touch over top of the laminate. You will not feel an emotion, but they will not scan and examine it. You and the other consumer contaminants fed on the federal diet of Kiev, Havana, and Tiananmen. I can't be the only one weighing the pros of abandonment. I can't be the only one weighing the pros of abandonment.
Where did you think we'd go? Love, there's nowhere to lie. Guess it's not who you know, more it's what you can hide. Like we're chained to the floor, they're streaming us live while we're watching the war, counting backwards from 5. Counting backwards from 5. Counting backwards from 5. Counting backwards. I guess this isn't such an awful place. Is that what you want me to say? You prove it's possible to sleep for days and to still think you're right here awake. The cost of living isn't much to make, but God, it's so hard to save. And when they told you everything was safe, were you safe? Were you safe? Were you safe? Were you safe? I guess this isn't such an awful place. Is that what you want me to say? You prove it's possible to sleep for days and to still think you're right here awake. The cost of living isn't much to make, but God, it's so hard to say. And when they told you everything was safe, were you safe? Were you safe? Were you safe? Were you safe?
Fresh off the masses, the brand new cancerous growth, who has come here to vie for your vote. Come here to cry at the camps and to mourn at the shore for the bodies that float by the wreck of an immigrant boat. Then it's back to their luxury home, couple security booths and a moat, couple cigars, little escargot, little booze and a soak. Just breathe in the steam and the smoke. Pink salt, lavender, candles are low. Shit, when you do what you do, gotta lighten the load. And he got a life of his own that's a sight to behold. And it's a lot to control, to decipher the code or to siphon the soul. The cost of a good night's sleep for the working elite is a bargain, no matter the toll. Worth any wager, and that comes straight from the mouth of the means to the goal that will swallow us whole. Ripe for the picking if you don't mind mold, and you know I don't. Maybe we're pleasantly prone, maybe we're taking a licking, compliantly ticking and ticking and ticking, but never explode. No, I don't deliver the prettiest image, but damn if it isn't an accurate vision of natural fission, of rage at the system and abject heartbreak, patiently waiting for any who will listen. That little blue bird who was watching your words is a federal carrier pigeon, a Langley first. It's a patient observer who hears what it wants and is trained for the worst. Oh, you got nothing to hide. They'll be the ones to decide that after they root through your purse, after they read all your text, after they raid your apartment, confiscate all of its contents, then conjure up evidence out of the air on a wing and a prayer and malicious intelligence nonsense. Any presumption of innocence long since gone, right along with your comforts and constants. Historically first they will come for the communists. So why in the fuck would I say I'm a communist? Well, it might be I love my community more than the monsters of opulence who are holding us hostage, who are vomiting promises. Might be I'm all done seeing our pensions and benefits harvested. Might be I'm all done watching the populace being disarmed in the guise of an armistice. Watching a woman collapse on the floor who will rise no more. She is wheeled out the door and you're next in line for the pharmacist. If you can get me to vote, it's a hard no confidence. But part of the charm of deception is politics wearing the mask of incompetence. It's all in the art of austerity, darling. It's all in the slide of the providence. Until home is as wide as your cubicle height and is only as deep as your coffin is. Maybe I'm miles away from impatience, aching to break off the head of the snake where the capital lust, reptile brain, and the margin of profit is. Like off with his. Like off with his.
I guess this isn't such an awful place. Is that what you want me to say? You prove it's possible to sleep for days and to still think you're right here awake. The cost of living isn't much to make, but God, it's so hard to save. And when they told you everything was safe, were you safe?
Told to come alone. Joe said if you vote for him, he'll abdicate his throne as the father of the crime bill, soul of Jim Crow. Proud to live and vote as a Strom Thurmond clone. If he tried to kiss your daughter with a camera rolling, he'll try more than kissing her alone. Cozy up with Jill for a photo like a portrait of the Kissingers at home. You know I hate to kill the messenger, but if he's gotta go, we can FaceTime. Slit his throat while he stares into the phone. Like if you don't know, kitten, now you know. This is where austerity has gotten us. This is all that palpable excitement for a 20-year wait on forgiveness for your student loans. But a distraction's a distraction and it's time to see some action. So here's one last song for Joe before I try to keep his name out of the lyrics in my phone. Try to shift the focus to our senators and everyone in Congress who is all too happy to be hidden while we're wasted to the bone. It is not food insecure, it's starvation, and it lurks in almost half the country's homes. So if you plan to lay down, hold your nose and vote for Joe, have the guts to admit that you chose to submit and that you decided lending your support to a pedophile must be a step towards hope. That a vote for a man that spent his whole life implementing laws that dehumanized people of color is a vote against fascism. When you know damn well he's just a kinder, dumber face on the same white nationalism. So baby, throw away your scruples with the memories of your activism. Watch your weak resistance usher in a fucking cataclysm. Elect a bigot war pig and say you're gonna push him into pacifism. That's some bootlicker Stockholm hostage liberal masochism. Bootlicker Stockholm hostage liberal masochism. Baby, that's some fucking bootlicker Stockholm hostage liberal masochism. God, that's some fucking bootlicker Stockholm hostage liberal masochism. That's some fucking
Live.
Hi, everybody.
We're on Jesse delay. We'll see what's up with that. He's got some wonky internet issues.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear myself a little bit in an echo in his earphones, which is weird. I don't kind of get why.
Sound went out? No, they're not getting sound.
Okay,
That's
good.
Cool.
All right. So, yeah, this American tradition. Hi, everybody. Natalie's here. You got no sound either at all? What you mean? Oh, no, he's talking about earlier. Maybe.
Oh, okay. I'm hoping so.
I'm hoping so, because... Yeah, I hear Jesse. Do you hear Jesse?
Do you hear Jesse? That's the question.
Are we certain we are live? Yes, Fred Edwards.
Does anybody really know what time it is?
Okay, Vicky saying yes, we see and hear us, yes, we're good.
You see and hear me. Do my life experiences matter?
Ali freaking Luya. Okay, so yes, American tradition. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Yes,
Hi, everybody.
It's Jesse. It's Indy. We have a new fund up because Jesse is on the computer that you all helped purchase for him. Yay! Thank you, everybody.
It's amazing. Seriously, I can't even tell you. Like, yeah. I turned on the computer and I'm still so used to like, oh shit, I need to get down at least 20 minutes before I need to be live to give the computer time to start up and get running. And I press the button and it's just like, it's on. And you can start doing stuff with it. I'm like, holy shit, it's like a real computer. This is insane.
More volume from Jesse still, or
I can do that.
Okay. I have a little bit of ability to do that too. Okay.
All right, I boosted my gain. I turned my headphone volume down, Indy, so you shouldn't be getting any echo anymore.
Oh, good. That's much better. Thank you.
I got you way down.
Okie doke. All right. Nice camera also. Yes, Tin Rabbit. That's built in. And at some point, we may even hook up the face cam, because I know the face cam is even, I think, may even be clearer than that. It's indie time.
And the next step will be running guitar and mic directly into everything, which
we were
still a work in progress.
We were working.
We got
on
the
that
mic.
last
We're
night.
just getting guitar through. So
yeah. So tonight we are going to be covering the Grift Home Companion, which, as Jesse likes to say, is kind of like the forgotten album in a way. You know, the Grift got a lot of play, you know, because it has like 6 killer tracks on it at least that have been played out like a lot. But Home Companion was released at the same time, but I think in general the musical stuff tends to overshadow the spoken word. So
for sure,
when you put both out simultaneously, what are you going to do?
Yep. Now there are a few pieces from Home Companion that certainly saw a lot of mileage. Hello Somebody and Shepherd of Hopes probably being the 2 biggest.
Yep.
But then Half Dollar that closes it out is in my top 5 favorite spoken word pieces I've ever written for sure.
Yeah.
So
I love that piece too. And we played that a couple times on the Friday night show.
Some other little gems like Obit, I think I've only read a couple times. Met Gala Airstrike, of course, Communism, Taylor's version. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited to do this one. So.
We've got a 2-year retrospective. I can't believe it's been more than 2 years since this. It's pretty crazy.
Just over.
And Fuck Me Where'd My Apes Go is where we start on this album, which is great. And I think you've done that once before on the show, maybe?
I think so. Yeah, I want to say I did.
But tonight's going to be all spoken word because the album's all spoken word. So for those who don't know, that's why we're doing that.
This will be fun. All right, let's get chat back popping. Oh, we got Colin in the house.
Care Bear's here. Did we see
the
Care
other
Bear?
computer
I've not seen Care Bear. Oh, there he is. Yes. How old was it?
Very old. The other computer, gosh, I mean, it was a backup hand-me-down from my father-in-law, who was like, oh, I have an extra laptop if you guys need one. And it's, it's at least 10 years old. It's,
wow.
It's one of those, you got to let your hamsters get running to get everything powered up and get your internet moving. So
that had like an 8 gig hard drive, right? Or
Right.
Like a tiny thing that you're constantly clearing out because it's filling up all the time. Yep. So yeah, the Home Companion has how many? 9 tracks also. Yep, 9, just like
9 tracks.
just like the album, just like the Grift album. And again, this was 2022. The only difference between that and the other album is this little symbol that you see there.
The little stamp. Which, looking back, I should have just had it be like a double album. But I really wanted it to be, once I came up with Home Companion, I was like, I want to do that. I want to have the Grift Home Companion. Was too good not to have as a title. But I do feel like it would have been nice to have it all lumped together. But maybe not. Maybe it would have been less digestible for people. And I've said before, some of my favorite albums ever from some of my favorite artists are some of the like odd man out in the discography, like Bazooka, usually bottom of the heap by a good bit, which just makes me love it all the more. So yeah, I was excited when we did Grift. I was like, obviously we can't get oh wait, did the stream freeze?
No.
Oh shit.
I'm not frozen. We're here.
Okay, I was just making sure.
Just keep rolling, because unless I say so, we're good.
Okay. Okay, sorry, I got scared there for a second. I was like, oh no, not tonight. We weren't going to be able to cram both records into one stream. That would have just been ludicrous. But I couldn't do Grift and not do this album. So hope you guys are down for a night of spoken word. But I'm excited because there's some of these, like Indy said, I've only read maybe once on the show. And a lot of them were kind of pre-Black Site. And I really do feel like now I kind of try to read everything through that lens. Or that's just how I'm reading everything now. I don't know which it is, whether it's conscious or whether that's just how delivery is now.
I just can't wait for the new equipment, like to hear it with the better. You didn't necessarily record it with a Yeti and a new PC.
Yep.
So I'm just looking forward to hearing that hopefully increased quality there, and then even better when we can get it through the mixer.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well.
So yeah, again, one more time, like I cannot thank everyone that contributed, and Indy for making this happen. Reef too for scouting out computers when the time was right, finding the equipment. I just, in like 2019, I would not have believed that 5 years down the road, I would have friends and support like I do, especially for making this kind of music. It's, it means the world to me. So I can't thank you guys enough. I love you.
I love you too, man. Yeah. And Angel, after we get this, this Indie Media Award heads thing done, I think PC and a new laptop for Angel might be next on the agenda. We're gonna take a look at the list, but I think that seems to be glaring as somebody who's doing 2 shows a week on the channel. A man needs to have better stuff.
Angel puts in some work, man.
Dude, he sure does.
Dude is clocking hours.
So proud, man, and just happy that he's doing it and growing, and he's here in chat.
That's
so
awesome.
Everybody follow Angel if you're not already. Go subscribe to all his channels. Follow him on Twitter. He's doing the wrestling show Saturday nights, and he's doing Angel in the afternoon. He did a surprise one tonight talking about Maduro, and killer dude. He's got it going. So. I am ready to listen to "Fuck Me, Where'd My Apes Go."
All right.
Unless you are.
This was I loved this piece. I'm sure you guys remember the NFT fiasco when all that started taking hold. The couple infamous posts of the guys getting their NFTs stolen, and the one being, all my apes gone. Someone stole my apes. And around that same time, there was an incident in Virginia, maybe, where a truck crashed that was carrying primates for either to or from a research lab. and the vehicle crashed. Some of the apes got out, and a woman driving by decided to try to like stop and help, and one of them bit her, and then she had to be hospitalized and quarantined for a week, and it was this whole shit show. And when that happened, it was just too perfect, the intersection of that and the NFTs, and I just wanted to do something that referenced both of those, both of the missing apes. And sometimes a title happens first, and then it's like, okay, now I've got to make, as soon as I come up with a title, like I have to actually write that piece and make it a reality, whether that's an album title like War Crime Jams to Pork 2, or whether it's a song title like Lockheed Martin OnlyFans. And I'm like, I will make this a reality. Fuck Me, Where'd My Apes Go was without a doubt one of those.
I love Lockheed Martin OnlyFans.
And that's anything that I can use that as my screen name for. Obviously, that's my username on Instagram. Any like online game, I play the Elder Scrolls card game, and I'm Lockheed Martin OnlyFans on there. If you're ever hunting for me. So another thing that inspired this piece was the frequent quizzes that you see, or just kind of engagement bait posts of people that's like, name this the last thing you ate, or your porn star name is the street you grew up on and your first pet's name, which now we know those are just farming information that you would use for security questions.
Exactly. They're just identity thieving questions. Here you go. Have a good time.
Which I gotta say, like, goddamn, that's brilliant. It's really malicious, but
look,
fuck, that's brilliant.
If you're gonna steal my shit, at least entertain me while you're doing it, I guess. I mean, it's better than just emptying my bank account, sort of. Maybe.
Oh, nah. Real quick, I got a phone call the other night, and I usually don't even answer telemarketers, but this was a regional number. It was local enough. I was like, I'll give it a shot. I was like, hi, this is a paid political engagement survey. Do you have 2 minutes for a political survey? I was like, yeah, I sure do. And he was like, I'm going to run down a list of politicians.
Oh.
And I want you to tell me whether you view them favorably or unfavorably. I was so excited. We were in the pet store, and we're getting some water filters and looking at some of the cats there. And all of a sudden, I turned to Jess. I'm like, I'm just going to be 1 second. And I step away. And I'm just standing in the middle of the store going, unfavorable. 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 Yeah, I'm going to have to say unfavorable. Yeah, that's going to be a big unfavorable for me. Down the whole list. And then he's like, if the presidential elections were tomorrow, would you vote for either of these candidates? Donald Trump. I was like, nope. He's like, Joe Biden. I'm like, nope. He's like, Kamala Harris. I'm like, nope. And he's like, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And I said, nope. He's like, other? I said, maybe not. Sure, other's fine.
Sure, write down other. Uh-huh.
And he said, is there a reason why? And I said, yeah, I no longer support the two-party system. He goes, okay, as a voter, what's your biggest issue right now? I said, Palestine. And he goes, in your opinion, what's the biggest issue facing Michigan? And I said, homelessness. And he goes, okay, thank you so much for your time. I was like, no, man, thank you. This has been a treat.
Oh, I wish I was in your boss's office this
pull
afternoon.
out my big bag of unfavorables for you here and start just doling them out like Oprah.
You get an unfavorable, and you get an unfavorable. Hell yeah.
I was just like glitching in the middle of the pet store, like unfavorable, like 20 times in a row.
I hope Fox was there to hear all that.
So sad. Oh yeah, it was so satisfying.
Oh, it's so good.
I was like, hey, can we do this again next week? You want to call again later?
I'll help you make your quota.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I've never been to therapy, but I can't imagine it being more cathartic than that one. It's like, for real.
Oh. That's great.
All right. Well, I think we already. Yeah, that was one of those moments you were like, I am basically signing my name on the watch list right now. Here's my number. Here's everything. I will say my doctor had a doctor's appointment yesterday. Haven't seen her since January. She clocked the Palestine tattoo the moment she walked in. Like, immediately noticed new tattoo and then asked me about it maybe 30 seconds into the view. She was super cool about it. She was like, it's so horrible what's going on. And I was like, you're right. It is. Good for you. Thank you. It would have sucked if she was like, I don't feel comfortable having you as a patient, sir. Because that would be possible, you know?
Well.
But no, she was super. I got to say, this doctor, a little cavalier, but she is super down to earth. Like, I was talking about some of the stuff I've tried to cut out and lost some weight. And I was like, it's hard because even when you have a cheat day, it's like having a cheat day with heroin. Like, you go back and all of a sudden you're like, oh, Taco Bell. I remember how great you are. And my doctor goes, oh, man, Taco Bell. I love Taco Bell. I was like, you're not supposed to say that. And she goes, well, every time I get like an intern that comes through, some of them have never had it. I take them to get it right away.
Oh, my God.
You are a pusher. That's
a doctor, folks. That is a doctor.
Oh, it was so great. Yep.
Sign me up.
Like, good for you.
Holy shit, that's funny.
What's funny is one of her specialties is weight loss. She specializes in weight loss.
Well, all in moderation, right? Mm-hmm. Isn't that their thing?
Yep.
Oh. Too much.
All right. So,
all right, let's get this up here.
Without further ado.
Oh,
see, there we go. We killed 20 minutes because the record itself is only like 35 minutes or something.
Yeah, and I killed that screen. I don't know why. Something happened there. So let's just go to this one. That's good, sorta. That'll work. While I figure out the other one.
Okay. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with the quiz format to determine what your porn star name is in this poem. See, it's cool. My doctor doesn't know I was down like 25 pounds and then I gained like 10 of those back. She was just like, hey, you're down 15 pounds from your last visit. Good job. I'm like, yeah, I sure am. Isn't that cool? We're not going to talk about all the struggle behind the scenes. But yes, I am. And yes, Dr. Nick, so I did, for a while there, one of the things I straight up gave up was alcohol as a whole. I've reintroduced beer, but I'm still not getting on the whiskey bourbon, which was my former love. Just hard liquor does not do well in my body. But this summer, I have to admit, I used to love Corona, but I've really found myself to be quite the Modelo guy lately. So tonight's non-consensual sponsor is Modelo, especially these little guys because they're just adorable.
Yes, they're non-consensual. They're not paying us for this.
They don't want anything to do with us, believe me.
Another hit off the apple. So
okay,
you ready? Let's
Sorry,
go?
you were gonna say something?
No, I was gonna lead into what we were doing with the cartoon stuff, but if you're going and you're just hitting the apple, let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah, let's do it.
But
actually, you can plug that real quick. I have to set this up because my display keeps turning off, and that's gonna fucking kill me.
Oh, okay. Well, so today, actually Sunday night, we recorded on How Do We Miss That, a segment about the independent art that the Zagel Brothers does, and they made this poster that everyone seems to have an opinion on one way or another. It's hilarious. And I reached out to them and I was like, it'd be really cool if we could get some of these made for the Indie Media Award honorees, because there's a lot of people that aren't on here that would be cool, and then we can do something cool for the people that are in that. And And what's even cooler is everyone else can also then download these and use them for whatever. We're talking about ways to potentially get artwork made of individual prints, or where you can make your own collage of what you want.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we've talked about it. I don't know if that, how easy or difficult that might be for him to do, or for me to do, once we have all the individuals done. And it's going to take a couple of months for him to do all of them. There's like close to 100. But because of that, and because his team, because it's going to take him a while, and his artwork and his time is certainly worth quite a bit, he's willing to discount his time. But he, we kind of worked out a deal, and I said, well, we'll certainly ask the audience and everyone to kind of help out with that, and whatever we can raise in the next couple of months, we'll raise, and then we'll go from there. And maybe he'll sell prints off of it. He sells a print of this on his website for $25 plus $10 UPS shipping in the U.S. So you can, by all means, check that out. Go to Zago, I think it's just Zago.com or LucioZago.com. At Zago Brothers on Twitter. All right, and again, he'll be working over the next couple of months, and he even put up a couple of videos on his Twitter page of him like making the prints, and you can see he shared this. Yeah, very cool stuff. I mean, he's a good dude. He lives in the Philly area, and he watches independent media, which is so kick ass. Like, and how cool to have a talent like this, and want to contribute and support. And we can all help each other out. It's like so cool. So that's what the Ko-fi QR code is going to go towards. And that's why we're going to leave it up there. And we're going to continue to support independent media, support independent art as well. And now I'm ready to start the Grift Home Companion.
All right. Here we go. Track 1. Fuck me. Where'd my apes go? Started up in safe mode. Feels like another day if you say so. Same sights, same smell, same payload. Bright and early, home sweet CAFO. Another day where your employer just cannot resist reminding you they need you like a payphone. That you're the lowest labor cost that ever crossed the payroll. So medicate yourself defeating Dayglow. Scroll a dozen other lives and take notes. Take a load off, take a quiz or two. Fuck it, stay home. Your porn star name is the last thing you ate in your ATM code. Mine is a sigil, eternally vigil, the shape of a ward to preserve us and aid in our darkest of days, the ages of Bezos. When Applebee's sweetens the pot on your 5th round booster shot with a free small queso. Another day where you wager it all on a game called Fuck Me, Where'd My Apes Go? Were they right-click saved or lost in the woods on the way to a lab and a lifetime of product testing for Procter & Gamble? And while I don't mean to ramble, I'm barely disturbing the surface of what you could call the preamble. Prepping the table where all of the rich will be seasoned and split, their legacies stripped, and the towers from which they would pelt us with shit will be toppled and trampled. Drug through the mud to the bramble, all pleas ignored, and the screams all cleared for samples. And flipped to the rallying cry of a turning of tides, a working class you forged and you galvanized through a lifetime of beating them flat on the anvil. And I'm just one man, but I'll do what I can from my circle of candles. A synchronized laying of hands on the handles of studio doors where mass media vandals all butcher the truth to contort into angles that groom you into the most useful of fools that you practically drool to see Raytheon marking a nation it seeks to dismantle. Your porn star name is the day you last ate and the word that first pops in your brain when describing the taste of police boots and Bezos' sandals. And it can be the brand new code word for anything you don't want heard because you're trying to keep your YouTube channel. So go touch grass, baby. Shout it from the rooftops. Carve it on the trunk of the tree of manna. The revolution won't be televised, but it will be felt in every soul like they're electrified by the power struggle rippling to life like a working class arcana. Load up every cannon, we will firebomb the history books and decimate the annals. Write in bold, unerring word, the peasants won the battle. Get it through your talking heads. Tell them that we canceled all their panels.
Tell them that they'll have to find some honest work. There no longer lives the kind of power they were here to serve. We'll no longer give up half an hour every night so we can placidly acknowledge things are getting worse. Then bury our intentions in the sand, antenna first. We'll no longer feed our children raw into the Senate's maw and all to slake the market's thirst. We'll no longer be their hapless tributes for the darkest curse, all to feed a power that was summoned up by Bilderberg. Oh, wait a sec, my heart just got a bit excited. Or a clot dislodged or burst. I'm not sure if that would be the best case scenario, but truth be told, it's not the worst. Your porn star name can be honest, or exotic, or mundane, or it can be the brand name stitched on the velvet inner lining of a donor's purse. They'll trade you just the same, honey. Profit is the dice, and the pieces, and the prize, and the name of the game. Christ, money is the motor nerve. And they don't really need yours. Everybody knows they got their own reserves.
These people?
It is not about money. It's also they can feel a little power surge. When they see their machinations on display, their silence fades. They want to shout it bright as day that they end lives and they break ground just to proudly say they shape a global future they've trilaterally deemed essential, equitable, pure, and business sound. It's all so they can feel a little power surge. Shit, I bet they laughed and jerked it when the towers burned. Your porn star name adorns a very shallow grave, but your one true name will be clear 1,000 years from now when this is just a town of ferns. When all the apes are gone and the overgrowth is blooming off of every surface, filling every view no matter how you turn. Lush and ever gentle while admonishing a creature that just never learns. Your name is an evergreen echo in a town of ferns. And you don't have a phone to check, just healthy breaths and rolling crests of verdant surf. Immerse yourself and drown the urge in patient earth. When all the apes are gone, there's only us to purge. Your name is that which never learns. And that's fuck me, where'd my apes go?
Yeah, it is. Solid, dude.
Brought to you by Modelo. Cerveza Especial.
Oh no, dude, you're gonna get us popped. No, not really, but you know they're gonna put like a sponsor thing on the bottom of it somewhere. Like this is a sponsored post or whatever.
I forgot that I already got us in trouble.
Oh, dude,
what was it? The cover last week, the Replacements song I did, apparently was too good, just too close to the real thing. And we got hit with the copyright, like can't monetize. But you know, it was cool. It said that they can if they want to. And I'm like, all right, giving one back to the Replacements. Look at me giving back.
Right? Well, isn't that nice of you? How kind of Jesse. Where's the thing there?
Shepherd of Hopes. Which, can I just say for a minute, it's so funny to see people, some who are closer to the controlled opposition side, like Dr. Dooley, and some who should know better, still being like, man, if only Bernie would throw his head in the ring right now. Am I right? Like,
oh my God!
Are you fucking serious?
Like no.
People, it's really scary to me how short our attention spans are. Like talking to people that are like, oh, well, you got to vote for Kamala because otherwise women's reproductive rights. Like, y'all, not only who was in charge when shit fell through, but who promised that they would do something right away? Not just him, but fucking Obama too. Like that is the carrot they will eternally dangle over your heads. They will never give you that because then they've just lost their biggest piece of leverage to get you to keep voting blue. It's
yes.
Sometimes
none of the above.
You know, my frosted side is like people are being lied to, people are being bamboozled. But then my whole wheat side is like, if y'all motherfuckers haven't caught on yet and you're still seriously letting yourself run through the same script and same trick every couple years and forget the year before, like I don't know. Some days I'm like, we deserve it. we deserve being dog walked like this if we can't like think for ourselves. But it's amazing just trying to do that. Just trying to apply a little critical thinking to a situation gets you dogpiled by people. People are just so, I know, so hostile to anyone that even wants to try to peek behind the curtain a little bit. Like, God forbid you interrupt, you know, I know, I've never felt such pushback from people, for trying to wake them up at all. It's amazing.
The ones that are now on board Team Kamala, man, just, I can't believe they really exist.
There's a house near me that has the whole, like, they've got the entire starter pack of Lincoln Project kind of yard signs. They have in this house, we believe, water is life, love is love, nobody is an immigrant, and blah, blah, blah. And they had a Biden-Harris sign, right? I drove past tonight, they just cut off the Biden off the top, so it's just a Harris, a little short Harris.
Well, they're waiting for the next. They're just waiting for the next yard sign. Is the thing. They haven't named the VP under her yet, so they have to have some. Dude, yes. Are you two white men for Kamala? Well, you know, Sean King.
I got one of those texts. I got hey, this is white guys for Kamala.
Sean King was on.
I was like,
Sean
that's
King
racist,
was on the
sir.
call last night. So I mean, yes. See, Jesse was invited. I did not get that invite. They don't want me at White Guys
So
for
funny.
Kamala.
I know, he's like, white guys for Kamala here. Can we count on you to phone bank? I was like, that's racist. Please stop contacting me.
The New York cover with her sitting on top of the coconut is just holy shit. If you haven't seen that yet.
No, I have. I thought it was supposed to be abolished. I literally thought it was supposed to be like a dung beetle joke. I was like, why are they doing that? But then I remember the coconut thing.
Yeah, you think you just fell out of a coconut tree? Like what? No. Like, and
there's a great. I might try to sample it. So maybe I shouldn't say what it is, but there's this artist. His name is Lancelot Lane, and he was an artist in Trinidad in the late 70s. Who did this music style that was kind of early rap coming off of calypso. Very interesting, just like fast spoken passages. But there's a lot of political and activist kind of elements in his music. It's really, really good. One of his songs opens up with this little piano flourish, and he says, "We tend to support the very things that are against us, even when we know it." And then the song starts, and I'm like, damn, that's like 50 years ago, and that's still true as shit. We tend to support the very things that are against us, even when we know it. Which brings us to Bernie fucking Sanders.
especially when we know it. But
Bernie fucking rat dick Sanders.
we lost a dude. Yeah, Jeff Bridges, I heard, was out there simping for Kamala. Look, they just made Hollywood
What?
get in line. Yes.
Oh, I thought you meant he died.
No.
So he died the worst death.
No, he died the worst death. Yeah, no, he had the simp for Cam. I mean, just what?
R.I.P.
Woo. R.I.P.
I know Megan the Stallion too. That hurt. Like, oh gosh.
Yeah,
Which I gotta say, for those who haven't seen the clip of Dave Matthews being interviewed by Al Jazeera in D.C. Protesting Netanyahu, Dave Matthews fucking lays it down.
Yes.
It's got some really, really solid politics, always has, and he says it very succinctly in a way that most Americans should be able to get and be like, oh yeah, you're right. No, these are a whole bunch of war crimes. Why are we celebrating this dude and letting him come to Congress? So huge props to Dave Matthews, because like, it's sad that we need celebrities to do that, so people can go, oh wait, I like that guy, I listen to what he says. But that's exactly what we need. Unfortunately, we need a whole bunch of celebrities, and it's really sad that it would take a handful. It really would. People give so much so much weight and validity to Taylor Swift. But it's true, if Taylor Swift and like fucking Chris Pratt and Beyonce were like, hey, what's going on in Gaza is an atrocity and like the worst shit humanity's ever seen. We've got to stop this now. Don't keep supporting Israel. Like, it would be amazing, the change that could bring. It would only take so little.
Macklemore did a little thing and it blew up because of it,
Yep. You are not allowed. You're not allowed to step out, man. You're really not.
But this side by side from Siraj, I could not help but not bring. It's too good.
Yep.
Her sitting on the coconut, and then Randy Marsh, of course, sitting on his giant mountain of shit. Because,
but yeah, big shout out to Dave Matthews.
We're all
sitting on
a giant.
My head and let me out.
Nice. We're all sitting on a giant mountain of shit here. So.
Sorry.
That's right. It's all a fucking clown show. That's right. So,
I used to scare people at work by popping up. We'd either do like different musicians. We'd either James Hetfield, I'm just go, ooh, right behind him. Or you do a Dave Matthews and go, she wakes up in the morning, like right behind someone.
Anyway, Jesse, yes, that's funny.
There is a Venn diagram of nonsensical Dave Matthews sounds and the nonsensical onomatopoeic, what's that asshole from Red Hot Chili Peppers, Anthony Kiedis. And it's funny because I enjoy Dave Matthews and I can't stand Chili Peppers, but there is an intersection there I don't like to acknowledge. But it exists, It exists.
Yeah. Orca liked the cover a little bang bang. Yeah. All right. Now, so Frank Zappa once said that politics is the entertainment division of the military-industrial complex. So you're not so far off, Care Bear, right there.
And what's funny is Frank Zappa's parents have some very interesting ties that are fairly unfortunate. But no, I mean, gosh, Frank Zappa was one of the first people I ever heard talk about, global events so matter-of-factly, but in a way that other people would never dream of talking about.
Way ahead of his time, kind of like Dave Matthews,
Yep.
Like, and just didn't give a fuck.
Frank Zappa and Dave Matthews, basically the same guy.
Sure. Violins and Joe's Garage. I wish I got to see Frank live. I saw Dave a bunch.
Oh, nice. Okay. Bernie Sanders.
All right, let's roast this motherfucker.
God damn. One of those pieces I'm like exponentially more angry every time I read it because like Bernie's done so much more bullshit and simping and water carrying since the last time. If you fool me once, it's because I didn't think a guard was needed. If you fool me twice, it's because I didn't learn the lesson, so it bears repeating. If you try the same play 3 times running, it's because you know what's coming, and you didn't come to lead, you came to purposefully be misleading. Democracy is dry. It spent a century bleeding, and the husk is gaping open to the sky, out in the field where all the sheep just keep on circling and worrying and bleeding. Waiting for the shepherd that they've tried to hide their faith in, but he's so appealing. They'll gladly give their fleece, it's such a freeing feeling, that even when he leads them to the ledge and starts to urge them on, they're positively beaming. They were told that they were on their way to save democracy, so even as they plummet, they just gloat, they don't consider screaming. And halfway up the cliff, the shepherd's cozy little mittens wrap around the staff of shattered human hopes on which he's leaning. And he shows the gentle grin that used to stir your inner spark, and he says, not me, us, as he gestures to the oligarchs. He knows that if he runs, they're gonna stop him like a stolen car, and he'll easily surrender because it bought a lot of time for laying mines in all the grassroots. Suddenly, the tiniest of movements gets you blown apart. Suddenly, you're in a play that's set on an election day, and voting for the fire, unaware you're playing Joan of Arc. Suddenly, the shepherd pulls the rug and slips a hood across your clueless mug, and everything goes zero dark.
I'm gonna warn you once more before it's 2024 and you fuck around and find out who your heroes are. Take a step back from the herd and you'll learn that you can spot who all the shearers are. If you really want to know the product that they're selling, I can take you where the mirrors are. If you think your voice is finally ready, I can tell you where the lyrics are. I hid them in a box I had to bury neath the cobble when they carpet bombed the promenade and raided all the street bazaars. Now all we got's the marketplace, and you're too broke to even bother asking what the options for your treatment are. Suddenly the raw debris of homeless human dignity will find it has 100 teeth for every badge and sweeper's arm. Suddenly they speak in solidarity, and each is armed. Suddenly the sheep can see the shepherd for his truest form, and all pitch in at once to help him buy the farm. And now it's 0 dark, and all is calm and peaceful, save the distant wail of sirens that approach beside the flames of dawn. Suddenly the carrot's just a string that's on a stick, and all your movements make you sick because the prize is gone. Now, we could go and flee into the forest low and meek, or we can exercise our right to feast and go and graze on Biden's lawn. 'Cause he's been sowing seeds that seep a toxin out to sap a bit from each of us and keep on leeching decades after Biden's gone. So regardless who they summon out of hell to come and do the job, it will not feel like Biden's gone. But in that time of hopelessness, you cannot trust the shepherd when he once again comes asking you to humor him his siren's song. It's cute that you can innocently, honestly assume that's just a symptom of a system that was wired wrong, not the standard feature, basic function, primary objective of a mass hypnosis firebomb. You don't need to know the words to cry along. Someday it'll hit you like an officer who pistol whipped their ride-along, broke his jaw and kept his job and kept it moving right along, that voting isn't red or blue or black or white or right or wrong. Voting's like a firing squad where you can choose the firearm. It's slow extinction by and large. It's Super Tuesday supercharged. It's all your futures, roots and all, just tossed out on a garbage barge. It's everybody dropping out to push the biggest oligarch. It's everybody voting fire, registered as Joan of Arc. And that's Shepherd of Hopes.
Bernie Sanders 2024. Fuck you. Fuck you, America. You know what? They already
Chug it, suckers.
They're already saying fuck you, America with Kamala Harris. I mean, like, they'd actually be more popular pushing that asshole right now, believe it or not. And that's sad to say. And we don't want any of them. They can all go pound sand and fuck off.
Yep. All right. Jordan Cheriton Roaster inbound.
Oh, you know, it's funny that you say that because Sunday night, and I'm sure you weren't watching because it's late for you, and it was very late at the end of How Do We Miss That? We read a piece by our friend Crying Grim, a.k.a. Rich Slutsky, over on Substack. And he wrote a piece about the demise of Jen Dyes and the downfall and the sudden exit of Jen Dyes from our space. She had tried to smear Jimmy Dore a couple times, and he wrote an ode and a goodbye, basically saying, I think we can close the book on her and she can go pound sand. And so it's kind of fitting that we're going to talk about a little poo.
Jordan was a good example of someone who has the capability of doing good work and wants to lure you back into the same fucking pit, because that's their whole business model. And was also at a time where everything I made, I was trying to keep at the 2-minute and 20-second mark so I could have it in a video that fit in Twitter and I could post it in its entirety. I'm now not limited to that, thanks to the INN account. But at the time, that was my, like, I knew roughly based on the tempo of the song how many measures would get me at that point, and then I tried to kind of keep it, to where at least if I had to cut something, it was a little bit of fade out, or like I could get it to a comfortable, trimmed, digestible 2 and 20 to be able to circulate, because that was how I was getting traction back when there was traction to be had on Twitter. Yeah. So this song was about that. It is fun to go through this now and read some of these post Biden dropout. Which sounds like an album in and of itself.
Well, and all the predictions about 2024.
Post Biden dropout.
Yeah, but all the predictions about 24, they're basically exactly where we thought we would be.
Yep.
2 years ago. Yeah, they're gonna push this cloud out. They're gonna they're gonna anoint her. They're gonna tell everybody to go fuck themselves. And wow, go figure. And and then they're trying to lock up Trump just for good measure to make sure that they don't have an opponent.
Yep. But
oh yeah, 2 and 20.
Yeah, especially what was the regardless who they summon out of hell to come and do the job, it will not feel like Biden's gone. Like, oh man, I read that line a minute ago. It's like, oh, let's find out, shall we?
Right? Is it going to be The Rock? I hope not.
God damn, right?
So everybody, Jesse Jett.
No, I think they're going to stick with. I think they're going to stick with Kamala. I really do, because the divisiveness that they're really trying to sow right now with people, with this kind of like woke culture, DEI dudes, I feel like it gives them something to be mad at. That's exactly what we've been trying to groom in them. And then your white progressive liberal gets to relive their whole Hillary playbook and gets to use that again. Because they get to say, you didn't support her because she's a woman of color. That's why you didn't support Kamala Harris. Of course, we have the perfect candidate, and you won't support her because she's a woman, or you won't support her because she's black. And it's the dream.
Perfect candidate.
It really is. I feel like that's exactly what they want right now, is someone that obviously she's willing to take it all a little step further than Joe did. And please the donors even more, and people will totally eat it up because she can, have a couple cool, like, sassy moments with some child actors that they bring in, and people eat it up.
I don't know. Oz and I are of the same mentality. Oz the Boomer from Beauty and the Boomer Saturday Nights. If you haven't checked them out, go follow them. Shanda as well. But Oz is of the belief, and I seem to be with him, is that they're going to look at her numbers so badly. Look, they had to get rid of Joe. Joe's out. Now, it's a free-for-all. They've got her anointed. They got all the electors and everybody in line to say, yeah. Now, they're going to start looking at the numbers and how badly she's cratering. And by the convention, they're going to turn to her and say, look, for the good of the party, if you don't want to guarantee that Trump's going to win, you got to step down. You got to step down. And at least let somebody who can actually challenge him step up at some point and try to. Yeah. And that's where I don't think that this circus is anywhere close to over. I think this was all orchestrated, and I don't think that everybody was on the same page as far as how and the timing of when this was done to begin with. Look, you saw from like Obama and Obama not wanting to do the endorsement right away. And then this story coming out about, all these it doesn't matter in the end. Nothing fundamentally changes come November or come January. So, just Kamala is blue Trump, just like Biden was blue Trump. I mean, it's now just blue Trump and, oh yeah, you're a racist and a sexist on top of it. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm here for it. All right. So let's go to 2 and 20.
Let's rip on some Democrats and get a little Jordan Chariton jab in there too. This is 2 and 20.
Give me 2 and 20. Humor me my humble talents. Let me weep a little bit too openly for those we're leaving hungry, hanging in the balance, hanging lifeless in the eagle's talons. Wrapped in lines a dozen times around their local food drives, just to find they're only serving heaps of mayo Pete up by the gallon, with a hearty double scoop of Biden's word salad. 'Cause Joe's prepared a couple words in no specific order to commemorate imaginary victories, and it must be a taste that you acquire from the democratic palate. 'Cause I find nothing pleasing, sweet, nourishing, or valid. But here comes Jordan Chariton and all his stunted clones to take that tired democratic tune and put it to the music of a patriotic ballad. Something that inspires you to cough up $20 and vote for 4 more years of civil servants telling you you're greedy because you didn't cream your jeans to see their flaccid snail-paced climate action. I'm sorry I was not impressed enough to go line up to have my turn to chug directly from the liberal vat of brunch relaxants. I'm sorry I still have a scrap of morals, so I couldn't sleep at night to know I led the working class into the slaughterhouse through promise of a greener pasture. Actually, I take it back. I'm never sorry. I would rather eat my fucking tongue than write a word that served those greedy bastards. I guess that the fundamental difference in what all too often passes as a journalist is just how swiftly some will seek to satisfy their masters. And by some, I mean the only ones they tell you truly matter. I mean the only ones they don't outright erase or bury under peals of laughter. I mean the only ones who speak a truth that we may not embrace until we're in too deep to hope escaping our disaster. I mean the ones who seek to break the spell and try to name the casters, who shouldn't need remind you they have numbers and addresses and are each of them disgustingly deserving of the kind of mortal fear the roar of riot brings and blesses, with conviction like a pastor. We didn't start the fire, but we came to fan the downfall faster. Give me 2 and 20. I'll be sharp and quick and funny, then I'll scream myself bloody when you play that fucker backwards. All the world's a stage, and the theater's belching flames, but really, what's more entertaining than a playhouse full of lively actors? Smoke gets in your eyes like a diversion tactic. Tacitly, you lapse a little, lax your guard, and last thing you'll remember is your faction being fractured and dismembered into fractions, flecks, and fragments. Last thing you'll remember is an ugly dream of fascists filling every fucking cabinet. The last thing you'll remember is the travesty that Amnesty's Assange support was just this side of abstinence. The last thing you'll remember as a member of an audience that never pays attention is the overwhelming feeling that regardless, you're all captive in the captured sense. So none of you can notice if the words that you hear spoken don't match up to what the caption says. In the end, the greatest coup was folks like Jordan using you till you think revolution's waiting just beneath the surface of the tar pit that our democratic status is. In the end, the sound of all these propagandists buzzing, from the hottest steaming takes to imperialist sweet nothings, will all metastasize into a static cyst. And once you see the obfuscation calcified before you, you might look at it a moment and think, how could we let that exist? How could we have struggled just to breathe beneath the weight of all this cancer bearing down on us, and all we did was scream resist? And nonetheless, the warmonger queen persists. She's reducing men in global power to a simple list. Who can keep a pedophile's secret versus who might need a little help to slow their lips? Who might need a visit in their cell so there's no risk that when they take the stand, they magically remember every trip they took to Little St. James or every place they shook Podesta's hand? Who among us knows how many times our flag has flown above the stage where a molester stands? Only Clinton's shadow knows. Only Clinton's fixer, probably bitter still from Navarone. Only Clinton's cult who worship BlackRock 'cause they have a home. Give me 2 and 20, I'll produce the Mecha catacomb. And I'm aware in doing so, I roll the dice, so each might be the final time I walk inside and tell my son that daddy's home. Well, give me 2 and 20. I can eulogize myself and still have plenty left to shred on Ken and Jordan, Cenk and Jeff, and Bernie, Nina, Nancy, AOC, and Chuck and Joe, and TYT, and every Twitter toddler who assumes that makes me GOP. Won't see me sing on bigger streams. I'll snap your platform right in two. Just give me 2 and 20. Here's the worst that I could do. And that's 2 and 20.
Oh, what a list right there, by the way. What a list at the end. All right. Ken, that's Kenny Clips, right? Kenny Clip and Douche. All right. Jordan Charlatan. All right. Jank Horsehead Uger. And let's not forget Jeff Miami. Oh my God, I forgot about him. Jeff Miami thinks the Great Reset is an anti-Semitic conspiracy.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. I forgot all about that guy. We've been blocked so long. Oh my God. Aw.
You know what's funny? I look at that list and everyone pops in my head, except for I was like, who the fuck is Jeff? It's been 2 years. I'm like, I was like, hopefully Indy knows. Hopefully Indy gets to Jeff, and he's like, and this guy. I'm so glad you did.
I totally
Because if you'd have been like, who's Jeff? I'm like, I couldn't fucking tell you. Some asshole.
I totally
But
remember.
yes, Jeff Miami.
Yes, he was part of the shitlin. And Jackie the wannabe fee. I call her wannabe fee. And
I feel like we may have successfully bullied Jeff off of the internet. I haven't seen him in a long time.
I don't know. I think he just blocked out. Can you imagine the Zionism come out of that guy's mouth right now? Holy shit. Oh my God. You want to talk about exposure? Like, yeah, I would guess that he's probably long gone at this point. Thank you, Anna Mayers. $10 for the JJ tip jar over to Cash App. By the way, if you have not yet...
Anna Mayers.
Cash.app. Oh, that's an old graphic. I have to update that one. Let me go to the one on How Do We Miss That? Because that's a newer one, hopefully. Yeah, that's the new one. That is all of our past and current supporters and the people who have given to help Jesse on the computer that he's on right now, which is fucking awesome. And now we're gonna do
you can't see it, but it's here.
yeah. And then we're gonna do the Zago Brothers, and we're gonna get the cartoon art for all the Indie Media Awards honorees. Yes, Steve Gill. Yes, this is live. Yes, you are. Your chat is going up there. Yes, agreed, Jenny Lynn. It's a big mistake to try to ride the fence between indie and mainstream media. All the birdie grifters who tried that are either lost most of their audience, or they just sold out completely eventually, like Kyle Kalinske. Oh my God, that guy. You know, we don't even talk about him anymore. Like, we had, I'm also an admin from the Jimmy Dore Discord server that Reef created years ago. That was how we first met each other, was through that. And I went through an old channel that had like sister servers, and the very first link to a server ever was like a Kyle Kalinske fan server. I'm like, can we get rid of this, please? Because it's been like 4 years, and I don't think we want to do that anymore. So thank you, but yeah, let's get rid of that. So no more link to the Kyle Kalinske server. All right, so we got 2 and 20s
Next
out.
up, it's Nina. It's Nina's turn.
Let's do the half a bowl of shit.
And you know, I gotta say, once again, here she comes at a convenient time to say nice and easy softball pitch tweets and get a whole bunch of retweets. And people are like, Nina talks a lot of sense. Nina, boy, I wish Nina was in there doing some, hey, what about Nina? Even some people who rarely miss have recently shared some Nina wisdom, and it hurts. It hurts deep down. Yeah.
Boy, does that hurt.
Mm-hmm. You know.
Oh, that hurts bad. I don't wanna. I don't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeller's my dog, Ma. I'll do it. All right. This is Hello Somebody. I'll never forget. This was one of those, like, people aren't gonna like you going after the squad, but you also know, like, people aren't gonna like that you went after the squad. it's always super fun after, like, hashtag squad goals, especially. People are like, how dare you? They're our closest allies. They're in there fighting on our side. The squad's and how did that work out for you guys?
Like,
huh? How did that work out for everybody?
Uh-huh.
How are your savings accounts? How's your grocery bill? Like, oh, Jesus Christ.
And what have they fought against and for while they've been there? All this, like, are they even there? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
It was so funny to see, like, Ilhan Omar within in the same 24-hour span, gives it up to Kamala Harris and is like, let's hear it for Kamala. She's gonna blah, blah, blah. Can't wait for Kamala. So proud of Kamala. And then she was like, hey, big ups to Rashida for standing up against genocide. And I'm like, oh, because you have no clue to how to fucking do that.
Right. You could
even in a performative sense, they can't be bothered. Only one person can be bothered to performatively object.
Well,
like, it's just
isn't that how it
too
works?
much to be bothered, you know?
Do they round robin and draw straws over who has to do it? I mean, like, you would think that for Palestine, like, I don't know.
So, all right.
Let's roast
Nina's
Nina.
turn.
Another squad member.
This is Hello Somebody. Hello somebody desperate. Hello somebody gullible. Hello anyone left who can swallow the bait, who ain't already rocking a stomach full. Maybe they knew and they ate it the same because there's no other way to assure that their stomach's full. Maybe they just know that they love the taste, so they'll put it away by the shovelful. So hello to somebody trying to feed us the light blue shit like it tastes any different or makes any Democrat any less culpable. Hello to someone who couldn't be troubled to mention a march for the healthcare struggle and spent the day cozy with donors who matter, who keep your progressives all wealthy and comfortable. I recommend your protests be anything but peaceable and all your disobedience be decidedly uncivil. You don't need a permit to declare that you have principles and love. It's only natural that seeing all these fascist assholes stacking up the Capitol would manifest in something loud and passionate and visceral. Keep it in your heart, because it's the only way we'll ever start to flesh out something livable. Maybe that was literal. Maybe our utopia is built from all the sinews of the moderates and liberals, salvaged when they broke their backs with NPR gymnastics, simultaneously hiding from the truth while sticking out their necks for pedophiles, Nazis, and the upper fucking echelon of World War criminals. But baby doll, it's not your fault. It's really all subliminal. They've sewn the propaganda into every thread of visuals, grown the propaganda off of truly noisome victuals, rows of propaganda propagated out of ritual, straight into your ocular and straight out your occipital, straight up to the point you flip on everything that's pivotal. Any crucial aspect of survival for the middle class becomes the holy unicorn you ridicule and snicker at and praise each piece of legislature dancing round the borders of the looking glass. It's not truly possible to try and stop the suffering of people that you spend each waking moment simply looking past, walking past a sobbing homeless family like, look at that. I bet they'd be in better shape if they'd have voted Democrat. Hello, somebody ignorant enough to still believe that there's some fundamental difference in the moral stance between the couple barrels that they're staring at. Like one's just got a slug, the other's loaded up with sarin gas. Both of them are pointed at your temple, and they're both equipped to make this breath your final gasp. Hello, somebody dense enough to split the hairs of which one is the kinder executioner with what will be their final task. Fuck. That's hello somebody.
Hello somebody. Can I get a hello somebody? Come on, hello somebody. Oh, come on. She used to get us so hyped. She was a great hype person. Yeah, I would say hype man, but she's not a hype man. She was a preacher's daughter, but man, wife of a cop, right? I believe.
I was about to say wife of a cop. Mm-hmm.
Whole family's basically
who produced more cops.
Cops.
I gotta say, I write a lot. I don't remember every line of every piece. And maybe it's just a few Modelo's, but I gotta say, this is one of those moments where I'm like, you know what, past Jesse, you phrased that really well. I like that's, I can't think of a better way to put it. Someone dense enough to split the hairs of which one is the kinder executioner. It really is. Like, if you're willing to take the time to decide which of these things is marginally less toxic for you. Like, how desperate are you? How ravenous are you for the slightest positive twist you can put on a candidate, that you're willing to get down on your hands and knees with a magnifying glass to find out the difference between these two people. And one of them, is a monster apparently, and then the other person you're told is their polar opposite. But like, it's amazing that someone wants to, and by someone I mean a lot of fucking people still
Too many,
want to try to tell you that because you won't suck it up and eat shit and, take the bus wherever it goes and just be thankful that it's still operational, and call that freedom of choice and call that democracy. It's depressing. It's heartbreaking, and it's just flat out stupid. It's stupid on levels I still can't properly express.
This is two jars of bleach on a table for me, and I actually shared that again tonight.
Exactly.
Pick either one and you lose, so it doesn't really matter.
There's your right to choose. There's your
exercise your right to choose.
Democracy.
That's right.
Good God.
Yeah. So Jenny Lynn says we drink to forget, and
cheers.
Steve says, yeah, he's been drunk since October 7th. Yeah, I think a lot of us kind of have. Denver Attaway is over on the rock bins, and he's laughing at the Camelot thing where she's sitting on. I can't believe that they even made that up.
I just want to show everyone my 1980s Tupperware with ice cubes for my Modelo's that I had downstairs, because I was really proud. It was a big dad moment for me. Here's the last one coming out of my little Tupperware.
Nice. That is. Yeah, you've got like 70s furniture kind of back there, like that print,
for sure.
And so what we need now is like the conversation pit. Mm-hmm. That's apparently a big 70s thing.
We have the candle going for Tara tonight. Shout out to Our Lady of Perpetual Shadow Band.
Nice.
All right. Obit.
Oh
man.
All right.
This one's spicy if memory serves. So, I can't remember if I put lime in this already or not. Hang on, just a moment. Dun dun dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, Camelot.
Okay.
Interval. 1980s Tupperware was the best Tupperware, is Dr. Nick Riviera over on Kick. Kick.com/Indie News Network.
It's been proven.
Heidi Benner says Kamalato, very funny. Here we go. Ode Candle to Lady Shadowban, yes.
All right. So, it is a little blurry. There's something, maybe it's just the camera. I haven't figured out some like precise settings. If I give it something to focus on, you can focus there. But once I pull back, all of a sudden there is some
like too
offsetting
much
and some blur.
Like
happening.
too much to look at.
Mm-hmm. It's like I have Reef's smoke setting, but just dialed down to like 10%.
That's all right. It's still a whole lot better than where we were. So
if I go like this, it fits. See the blur to make sense. Like, welcome to the basement. It's 11:10 on a Tuesday.
Corningware.
Okay.
Corningware. Yep. Best Tupperware hands down was 80s Corningware. Sure.
All right, we are officially on the halfway hinge, and yeah, it gets real spicy from here on out.
Oh, we like we like the rest of this, taking it home.
This was anytime you're playing with a phrase like "Death to America," you gotta come correct, as the kids would say, and I tried to toe that line a little tongue in cheek, but also to get my point across, because fuck us. This is Obit. If it's death to America, I'll gladly pen me Obit. For the global gods of terror who controlled the world like COVID, prone to quickly flip their holy shit with zero notice, all you'll hear is the explosion. And when you flee to safety, you'll be blocked by close to 50 cops whose radios don't seem to function. Trigger fingers glued to their assumptions.
Trigger fingers sworn that they'll uphold a code of bigotry that Biden signed in blood before the annual police union luncheon. Trigger fingers all too proud to punch in. Trigger fingers all too quick to end a life with no investigation or discussion. Safe to say, de-escalation isn't any interest since it isn't something they can stick their new expensive guns in. It isn't something they can tase, intimidate, or rape, so they don't really see it fitting in their current surging budget. And we all know anyone elected wouldn't dare to dream to touch it. Hell, they jump at any chance they get to fund it. They get a little giddy when they pump the numbers up and push us closer to our future as an open-air dungeon, dragging chains of raw corruption. So if it's death to America, I'll wager that the cause of death was part consumerism, part consumption. And I'll bet it was administered by wealthy, suited worms who excrete the viscous slime of the immoral and the unctuous and slap a coat on every crack in this collapsing structure like they're doing us a favor and not lathering their cancer on the future that they stuck you with. And they're banking on the promise that a lot of us will be so close to starving that we wouldn't look twice before we stomach it. Hunger's not a motivator. Hunger is the hunter that you rummage through the rubble with. Hunger is the capsule that they fill with all their finely powdered policies and stuff you with. And now, here comes the Democratic voter base to shame you for not telling them you're grateful and that they're the lesser evil you'd prefer to starve and suffer with. You could be another Warren voter pumping brakes on living wages because you're coasting on the victory of the suffragettes. Wait a half a century, and then we'll have a dialogue that starts the conversation of a closed-door debate on the merits of a means-tested, temporary wage increase of 7 cents. Out beyond the shifting sands, and over the electric fence, bloody revolution is the truest form of self-defense. Where every last dissenting word was taken in as evidence, our hope for the future roars to life to cries of revenant. So when it's death to America, I'll reach for the accelerant. I will pen the obit and be anything but penitent. I will pound the pulpit and be everything but reverent. Cum my fucking brains out so hard it makes me celibate, then stream it straight into your home or closed-circuit televis. I know it's not appropriate or warranted or relevant, but I'm just being honest and acknowledging the elephant before I pop the hinges on my jaw and relish every minute swallowing it whole to the delight of its constituents. I'll tell them that they're free to live their lives without its influence. Tell them that the donkey's next to go, so they should know there's going to be another incident. They should know that we will prove to be our own deliverance. They should know the kinship of the living is invincible and limitless. They should know that anger is a way for hope to bloom and not a way that hope diminishes. So if it's death to America, I'll gladly pen the obit, but I'll probably never finish it. I'll add a line for every day we venture further out from where the capitalists settled down and shat out all their legacy and lineage. I'll add a line for every time United Health was fine to tell another human being that their bottom line was heavily prioritized above the dollar value they've decided their desire to keep living is. Now, raise your hand if you refuse to eat the truth that this is all that living is. Raise your hand if you're prepared to tell your representatives the future of the working class is vastly more important than their insulated living is. Raise your hand if you believe your legislators don't possess the faintest fucking inkling what the honest cost of living is. Raise your hand if you feel like you can't afford to truly know what living is. That's obit.
That's an obit for the US of A.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Wow, where'd that come from? It didn't even sound like you for a second.
Who are these people?
You got possessed.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, that's 3 Modelo, Jesse. I start to sound like Coulter Wall.
One of those sling blades.
Mm-hmm. Reckon I'm gonna have to kill old Jesse.
Uh-oh. Stream Deck just crashed. Really? Come on. That happens to me occasionally. All right.
The ghost of Billy Bob Thornton.
Okay. Now it's back. That was weird.
He's not dead. He's just a weird enough dude that I figured he could also have his own ghost at the same time. That wouldn't surprise me. That's just some Billy Bob Thornton shit.
Who are these people?
There we go. All right. So what do we have next? We have got Kent State Engaged. Now, you had never played this on the show until episode 40.
Yeah.
And we did
this
the
fairly
Wheel
recently.
of Fortune. We did the Wheel of Fortune episode. I love that cover. That's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, that was great.
And yeah, it's, you know, it came right at the time that all the college campus stuff was happening. So it kind of worked.
Yeah. And now it's just fun to do any of these and be like, let's see if there's a Biden reference that hits different now that he's stepped down and just kind of poofed.
well, yeah. Where in the world is Joe Biden? It became like Carmen Sandiego or Where's Waldo? Where can you? And is that Biden 1, Biden 2, or Biden 3? You know, that's a whole other story for another day. But it's weird. It's definitely weird. As the Democrats are all getting on board to say, it's weird. It's so weird.
Oh,
you know
right. Oh, God.
You know what's so fucking weird? The fact that you just anointed a candidate, number one, and the fact that your existing guy is completely hidden in the basement and nobody knows where the fuck he is. And every time you see him, he either looks completely spry, like it was never him in the first place, or totally incoherent, or the wrong height. The wrong height. Wait, what? He's supposed to be the same height as Bibi Netanyahu. How is he 4 inches tall? Yeah, they've got him in cryostasis somewhere, and eventually they'll tell us all. I swear to God. So yeah, Kent State Engage. You know, it's written about the original Kent State, 1968, right? And the convention, and what are we about to have here in about 2.5, 3 weeks? Chicago is going to be fucking insane. And you know, Matt from the Homeless Left said something to me that he's like, you know, I don't know if you want to do something, like I'm going to be there and I'm thinking on a stream live, like, dude, honestly, I would rather pick lint out of my fucking navel than do anything having to do with the DNC. I love you. I wish you well. But I am truly anti-duopoly. I want nothing to do with that clown show, and I want nothing, like, I'm not gonna report from outside of it and protest and be mad about it, and like, nah, I'm just, it's not.
I'll throw my feces at the building like a crazy person.
I'm not letting it occupy my mind space. I'm just not. I can't. Like, when we know that the result is gonna end up being, doesn't matter anyway, they're gonna get stomped by Trump. So and the exit polls. The polls are saying now. The polls. Oh my God, guys. Oh my God, guys. All right. Let's get to Kent State Engaged, because otherwise I might bash my head into a wall.
It feels like every other day is Kent State, and we're the people watching from the safety of the gate, muttering repeatedly, we're gonna be okay. Little did we know our fate was forged and on its way. Little did we know our last names were on a collar with a binary chain. Little did we know they're only working through the A's, so at most we got a couple days of listening to all those precious freedoms fade away, watching all your neighbors learn in real time how they never really had them anyway, watching as we occupy ourselves. And you can try to occupy yourself, but eventually you're gonna have to reckon the embarrassment of seeing that the terrorists were speaking perfect English and they look just like yourselves. And you could smell a power trip, distinctly American. You could hear the hate in their voices so well. You recognized the boots when they pressed into your face and the sweet familiar taste of the composite shell. And suddenly, the film decides to pause itself. Suddenly, the animals that wither in your cage would sooner claw themselves. Suddenly, we start to see a fascist is a fascist, and it doesn't fucking matter what they call themselves. Suddenly, we start to see their colors are irrelevant. Suddenly, the film is turning black and white, and all the red and blue feels just as far away and long ago as civil rights. And suddenly, it's Groundhog Day on the Kent State firing line. And you're a student holding up a picket sign. You're the dying breed before a generation born with all its senses in the sand unless it's dinner time. A generation undereducated in the hopes that their capacity for questioning their station might be minimized. A generation dancing to the same song, witnessed by a million eyes. A generation struggling to save itself when all our means to aid ourselves were weaponized. Poverty was branded on our skin and we were tased or made to step aside. Kettled into gutters and the ruling classes laughing as they pass us by. A ruling class of warped, perverted sadists, so empowered by our capitalist system, their humanity's impossible to recognize. So fattened off our taxes and our blood and our misfortune that they'll never die. They'll be comfy somewhere else that Bezos terraformed and colonized when Earth is sunken under waves of human refuse and we all get left behind, terrified. Our first mistake was standing by and watching human suffering incentivized. And the last of our mistakes was probably painted on a sign at Kent State that never made it past the censor's eyes. Shouted down to ashes under angry crowds of Semper Fi. When it's on your block, your only option might be frozen to the spot and truly petrified. Like you heard the first shot at Kent State and it went through your sign and right into somebody's side. And we'll all go down in history as police-assisted suicides. So tell the founding fathers that we sing the songs of patricide, chanted out in triplicate, unanimously ratified, and we'll all go down in history as police-assisted suicides. That's Kent State Engage. So, two things. One, obviously, the title is a play off of Killswitch Engage. And the reason capitalist system is capitalized in the text there is because that was written a day or so after they released the new papers on domestic extremism. And one of the boxes that you had to tick to be considered an extremist was someone who blames our capitalist system for problems in the U.S. or problems abroad. So I made sure that I wanted to really
guilty.
Guilty. This is it. This is the one.
Guilty.
This motherfucker right here.
Yep, that's me. Mm-hmm. For sure. Okay.
Oh, this is fun. This brings us to some of the meat and potatoes.
Oh.
Let me see if there's anything I want to explain before this piece. I don't think so. So there's the hyacinth. Mm-hmm. I did this one not too long ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and you explained about her recording her deal with the record companies and how she re-recorded them and called them Taylor's version, which is why you called this one that. But beyond.
The hyacinth moment. There's a reference to a garden full of hyacinths. Obviously, in Hyacinth, on the coming of spring, the hyacinths are the plants in the garden that are the former workers that you get buried once you're kaput. They plant you out in the garden and you're fertilizer for the hyacinths. And so I made sure to reference those here. In this instance, someone pissing in that garden. But so anytime I'll reference, I think there's another piece too that mentions a garden of hyacinths. And any chance I get, that's what I'm talking. Obviously, it's that it's us. It's the workers in there.
That's like the Matrix, where we're all kind of laying in those little jelly thingies, capsules,
or jelly pods.
All right.
Yeah. Here we go. Communism, Taylor's version.
Blue check, better hold your breath. I'll slap you out your Ray-Bans. Toe-to-toe, we'll do-si-do and dip until you faceplant. If you want statistics, I can cough 'em up like Rain Man. Now your argument has 0 arms and legs like Rayman. Now we're touring 2019 like it was Graceland. I dropped 50 pounds and started dressing like a stagehand. Quarantine was born and I restored my former waistband. Now I make the trailers for our future in the wasteland. Back on my bullshit, back at my heaviest, here to grab the artifact and jam it in the edifice, force it in the orifice, absorb the sordid medicine. All the good cops are either dead or quickly jettisoned. No, I'm not a nihilist, and no, I'm not a pessimist. I'm just your average realist with a fetish for the precipice. Bend you over this abyss. I want to make you sweat a bit. I'll drop you once it registers, and know that you'll remember it. Daughters of the Revolution soon may lose their membership, maybe through a dissolution, maybe through dismemberment. I won't be the one to choose or execute the severance, but stand in solidarity with every tool that severs it. Every crimson pool we made of every fascist fool who watched us sacrifice our schools to fund the final crowning jewel affixed in Lockheed Martin's diadem. What's another 20 dead? Our leaders never cried for them. They're laughing in the garden, drunk and pissing on the hyacinths. The royal jubilee to praise this fascist Biden monarchy is imminent, and it would not be possible without the constant slaughtering of innocents, overseas and here at home and anywhere we find a shred of innocence. We won't stand for peace, not in the global or the inner sense. We won't let a single nation live outside our prison fence. And we'll provide the bullets that defaced an honest journalist and turn around to praise ourselves for fearlessly upholding the free press and their important service. But I'll make a bet that Anthony starts blinking awfully nervous when you ask him why Assange is being jailed without a purpose. For what may be the greatest, most courageous act of journalism carried out in earnest. All to be rewarded with a slow-mo execution stretching out across a decade until they commute his sentence half an hour after he goes in the furnace. Sometimes I think the world is only turning out of spite. It's like we died a long time ago and we're so used to being burned that when we saw the light, we all assumed that it was here to burn us. And so we fled into the shelter of a flooded circus, led to higher ground by all the clowns who own the only raft that floats above the sewage. And yes, there's plenty room, but they insist we don't deserve it. They insist the system works, they know it isn't perfect, but say we can't let great become the enemy of good, or all these rolling waves of shit we call democracy and bled out every dime for won't be worth it. But I submit this joke of an American experiment has not been worth a fraction of a damn since we birthed it. I submit that all our contributions to the planet, when subtracting our destruction and the millions we left dead and labeled damages, would leave us with a failing grade of worthless. My apologies to any blue checks who might be listening. I'm sure that made you clutch your pearls and $1,000 purses. Did I interrupt your fantasy of healthcare exclusivity, replete with fleets of Tesla hearses? Or your daily round of golf claps to pacify our broken nurses? I know my spoken word is like the scalpel of a surgeon who is working on behalf of the insurgents, but I'm just here to open up your eyes so you can see the true reality and not your censored, tailored version. You can get your copy of my brand new manifesto. I took all my calls for violence, made it danceable, and presto, called it Communism, Taylor's version. Called it Tales of the Great American High-Speed Rail Aversion. Called it How to Put a Bigot into Power, then collectively and feebly coerce him into acting like a decent person. This will be the most important vote you'll ever cast because we have to wrestle power from the current ruling class and hand it over to the other team of smiling suited serpents. This will be the most important vote you'll ever cast. Now watch them toss it in the vat and see it melt into the surface. And that's Communism, Taylor's version.
I love that. The Great American High-Speed Rail Aversion. Every 4 years they throw that map out.
Yeah.
Every 4 years. We have that, and then they show you what China's doing with their rail system and what Europe did with their rail system, and they just gaslight us. Yep. Once again. What else is new?
Oh man.
Yeah,
all right.
Escalation and real life. That's happening. But yeah, Met Gala airstrike. Yay.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Let's take
This is a fun one.
a chunk out of
Quick.
AOC now.
Quick and straight. Yep. And my Bill Maher line in this. I love it and I hate it at the same time. All right. This is Met Gala airstrike.
Influencer TikTok, capitalist pig dog, immigration flip-flop lobbied via rim job, Met Gala airstrike, A-lister scrimshaw, paparazzi lip sip the scandal as it drips off. You know I'd love to meet our leaders that were tipped off back when COVID was a few of us with wicked coughs and be like, sorry, Mr. Senator, that you don't speak in terms of human worth, just in kickbacks and dipped stocks, and then punch that motherfucker like a shift clock. Hurry back home to my stack of straw dolls with their limbs off. Biden's on the screen, and he's confusing Xi and Kim Jong, talking out his SIM card like someone plugged him in wrong. But then we hit the gist, and suddenly his pitch drops. He whispers right at camera one with his fist balled. His words hang with the subtlety of a lynch mob. He says, rat your neighbor out and get a $5 voucher for the CIA gift shop. Hell, you'll even get a free stick of boot-flavored lip balm. Every day we make enough consent to fill a strip mall. So when I say eat the rich, I'm talking still raw, bone in, limb by greedy limb with a skill saw. Picture, if you will, a modern take on Naked Prey starring Bill Maher. Picture misery deeper than a reach in Biden's pill jar. You pull a fistful out and down it, honey, here we are. The future's full of shit and clear enough to know we're better veering off and fleeing far. Somewhere Jeff will never think to look beyond the fading stars. Beyond the homeless camps they came and swept for the parade of stars who showed their faces proudly while we covered ours. Met Gala butcher block. We feed the hungry and we tax the filthy rich until they fucking starve. Poke the hornet's nest enough, eventually it comes apart. Eventually I'll run my course and numb my art. I'll snuff the little embers out and clean my car. Wait it out enough, and then my sample bank will seem bizarre. Just foreign clips of fuzzy inspirations that I've washed away or smoked beneath a half a dozen years of char. Till I've long forgotten the familiar buzz of pressure in my ears when it's just me alone, with thoughts of drones, Boston dogs, Black Rock homes, and women wearing maiden's garb. The times when privately I wondered if we'd ever shake these chains of ours, when every vote for lesser evil yields another toxic barb. A pox on your democracy, a swelling in your child's heart. Before the time to educate ourselves is gone, and suddenly our trial starts. Those among you capable of standing, please rise. Wipe the crocodile tears from your landlord's eyes before the trial starts. All rise, and the trial starts. That's Met Gala airstrike.
Yeah, it is Met Gala.
All right.
We need that tax to rich yet. Wait, somebody actually put the tax to what? Somebody said that. Oh, there it is. Teamwork, a tax to what? Yes. Remember Met Gala? She wore the stupid dress and they wrote tax to rich on the back. That was what, 3 years ago already? Like, dude, it all blends together.
Yep.
Timbuktu, is this the Scream Room? I think it might be. You're almost at the end of it because we're up to $50 already, and
this is it.
We're gonna cry for America one more time tonight, and then we're gonna get the hell out of here. But if you have not joined us on Friday night for Clip Show, my God, what the hell are you doing? Because clip shows are awesome. I've been spending a lot of time like kind of putting these things together. I've even like cut original stuff out of streams that have never been cut as singles or listened to since the live stream.
Yep.
So we're gonna go back this time and go episodes 23 to 33. It'll be the third quarter of the 4 quarters of American
Nice.
tradition so far. And that's going to include Halfway to the Black Site. That's going to include Bonnarome. That's going to include
nice.
One Night in Utah, where we've never played any Utah Phillips stuff since that night. I never even cut it. So I don't even have a set list for that night. I've got to really go through that one. That'll take me a little time. But, man, I love making those shows. I love running them. They go too quickly for Friday night.
Yeah.
You know, this Friday was 2.5 hours, so it was a chunk. Usually they're about an hour and a half, hour and a half, and they go quick and they're fun. Chat's a good time, and come hang out with us Friday nights, 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific on INN on all the channels as usual, right here, like you are now. So we got $50 left. Anna Maris is flipping out over on Rockfin because she says, "I have a love and hate relationship with all of your stuff." Yes.
Me too.
Somewhere I have to pause the scroll for a second. No, I don't want to turn on text to speech. Where's the pause to scroll? Fred Edward put up that Jeff Miami now has protected all of his tweets, so you can't see his timeline anymore. What a fun Twitter that must be.
I bet you.
Does he follow you or something? Can you see it?
Better than that. He follows Cy Oppenheimer.
Oh, yes! Oh, that's so good.
Let's see.
Oh, so good. Wow.
Yep. Oh! Damn, he must have found me out.
Uh-oh.
Not anymore, he doesn't.
Nope, no more following the psyop. Bummer.
Oh, well, we had a good run.
That was a good
You
time.
sad bastard.
That dude just locked it down hard at some point. Yes, chat's always a good time. Kill Your Egregores is here. we've got T Borka. All right, Yum Yum Modelo. Yes, Anna Mayers. She's a big Modelo fan. Apple Orchard Trials. And can't wait for the new show this Sunday. Yep. There may be a new show showing up. And by the way, if you missed last night, there was another new show that debuted on INN called The Maple Files.
Yep.
Himbo and Yeti did about 2.5 hours, all Canadian focused and Canadian issues. And there were a couple of people that were like, nobody's really talked about Canadian news really like this. And very cool for like leftists from a communist perspective. And Yeti's going to be doing some homesteading, and they just bought a plot of land. So he's been doing 3D printing and hydroponics. And he did gardening last year. He did a whole series on the Substack about gardening and soil choices and all that stuff. So I'm excited to see what more we're going to get out of Yeti coming in the future. He just got a new computer and a new mic also. So everybody's doing the thing. We're going to have a good time. Yeah, there's going to be a gaming stream in the afternoons on Sunday is the plan, but we'll see how that goes. I'm excited. I'd like to see it. So we'll see how that goes. I know Heidi Better and Himbo have been working on something there. So yeah, $50. Let me switch you to lyrics so everybody can see them. And you want to do any setup for this piece?
Yeah. This was about what we love to do to someone's memory after they're gone, especially after we have a hand somehow in their passing. That someone who is very critical of the United States ends up being framed posthumously as a much tamer figure is not by accident by any means. And I was cleaning one day and I found a $50, actually two of them, and I started looking at it and thinking about JFK's views on healthcare and then what we do to people, other people that we've had a hand in, directly or indirectly, and how we love to whitewash someone's legacy to the point that we will totally flip the script and make them a supporter of some of the very things they stood against when they were alive. And that led to this piece. This is definitely one of my favorites of mine. I actually I keep both of those $50 in my wallet behind my license. I keep that fucking thing on me at all times. So yeah, this is $50. I found a $50 in a dresser drawer. Spent the time I would have spent just staring at the floor, staring down at JFK, trying to imagine the immoral sort of irony that makes a nation feign commemoration of a man that it had murdered by the CIA. Trying to envision us if we possessed the health care he had talked about in '58. I guess the takeaway is it's a piece of fucking cake to celebrate somebody's bravery once you've assured they're safely in the grave. I bet if Pat Tillman were alive today that he would say the same. And I'm sure we're in for more if they let Julian decay. I bet that they would put him on a quarter. I bet that they would name conference rooms in his honor at the IMF, the New York Times, the FBI, and Citibank. I guess the takeaway is it's a no-risk softball pitch to uplift somebody's image once their image is the one thing that remains. And the worst is when it's coming from a figurehead who's funding every agency that authored the remains and working with the agency that doctored the remains, the agency that obfuscates the facts and spins a constant storm of shifting blame. I guess the takeaway is that America will sing your praises loud as day to celebrate the fact you and the threat you posed have passed away. Shit, they'll throw you a parade. And business, just as usual, will live another day. And all of the insurance gods will bathe in all the praise and make donations rain. And all their winged, wicked little lobbyists will blow their horns and light the flames. The ceremony starts, and they in single column march up to the weathered onyx arch and sand the marker down that bears your name. So you no longer are and never were until your hideous rebirth within the corporate frame. Until you're back from the dead and then bound for all eternity in propaganda's chains. It's the very ritual that whittled down the legacy of Martin Luther King into a parable on unity for liberals to claim. And once they learned it worked, the world would never be the same. And now it's getting worse. I guess they're dialing in their aim. History is a straight line, but so's a moving train, which is heavily dependent on our infrastructure grade. We are building back better in a nation built on slaves. So you can guess the ultimate direction that a pathway to the future paves. They don't want you living, or they'd offer you a living wage. They don't want you feeding any homeless. It's just best to leave them freezing in the alleyway. They don't want you speaking words of hope unto the hopeless, or they'll do you up like JFK. I found a $50 in my dresser, and I spent the rest of my whole day depressed because this constant drop in pressure means that you can catch the bends from simply sitting up in bed awake. It looks like 2022 is really not the year for you to have your lives improved. I guess you'll have to wait. But not to fret, election season's just around the bend. Why don't you go ahead and save the date? So you can throw yourself before the magistrate and beg to have your family saved. You don't know the people you elect to lead you more than what their ad portrays. You can't tell their offerings of saccharin and arsenic from ordinary aspartame. And you can't really comprehend the kind of greed this country feeds upon until you're Jackie O wearing close to half a brain. And probably the half that would have seen us passing M4A. All to keep the pieces in their places in the never-ending profit game. All to weave a tapestry of ampersands, each allow a claim adjuster room to just dismiss you with a callous hand like fuck you and your meds. Fuck you for requesting a procedure that you need so you can stand. Fuck you and your family and your poor demands. So welcome to the land where we'll assassinate a man and then put him on a $50 stadium or stamp
and proclaim ourselves the greatest country ever master planned, killing off its citizens, enriching all its brands. And that is $50.
We're fucked.
There it is. You
Yeah,
know
we
what?
need one of those.
I'm gonna. Well, I still got a little bit of battery left here. I'm gonna fire off one more piece.
So February 4th, and it was released 5 months later on July 4th. You wrote that what?
Yep.
Like, was that Super Bowl Sunday you wrote that on? It's kind of
Yeah,
funny.
I think so.
That's funny. Just put them on a stadium, a $50 stadium. You know, maybe there was somebody written on the stadium, and then there was Pat Tillman, so there was the football talk also.
Yep.
I think it might have even been Raymond James Stadium in Arizona, possibly that year.
I'm keeping quite a bit for the new album under wraps until the album comes out. But especially reading two pieces tonight that talked about Julian still being in Belmarsh, feels like I should. I don't know. It feels like I should do this piece. Let me send this to you too.
Shit.
So that everyone can see it.
Oh boy.
So I wrote this June 26th. When we all of a sudden got the news that like Julian was out, it was very hard for me to wrap my brain around, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't have a lot of mixed emotions, because obviously more than anything, you know, so much of us had resigned ourselves to not ever seeing him out, and for him to be out is such a huge win.
Yeah.
But it also felt like it was at the cost of the larger issue that we'd always said, it's not just about Julian, it's about all of our free speech. And it felt like thank God Julian got out, but free speech didn't. Free speech is still in there. And that was hard to reckon with. And it was one of the weirdest feelings ever that first night, because I distinctly remember everyone having this massive sense of celebration, and I felt like an outsider for the first time among all my friends and like people I consider, you know, politically, like from a belief standpoint, my peers. And I was like, why can't I feel this? It felt like it's Christmas and you're not in the spirit and you can't get in the spirit or something. It's like, why turn on the holiday vibes? Like, I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. I kept waiting for the like, ha, fuck you, like the rug pull to come. And I feel like at a certain point,
I think you're not the only one.
Is that just how conditioned we are? Because we never get fucking good news. What's good news, you know? So at some point, it's like,
well, it comes at a compromise
maybe it's just
every
me,
time.
you know? But it was hard for me to formulate my opinion, and then I started writing this piece, and it wasn't until I saw him hug Stella that all of a sudden, like, I felt emotion, and like, no matter what, that is absolutely something worth celebrating. And we're at a point where sometimes you only get a little fucking sliver to celebrate over, but it's what we get, you know? And maybe that's all our diet is going to be from here on out, are those little slices of a victory. So I wrote this piece about processing that, and about wanting to feel what everybody else felt,
and wanting to be able to celebrate something that we fought over and cried over so much, and then just not feeling that, and like activate, like trying to just feel that, and how alienating that was, and how bizarre that was. And not to make it all about me, but this is what it was for me. And I feel like where the conclusion I come to at the end of this piece is definitely where I left off. And I hope that any misgivings someone might have about my views on it would be cleared up by the end of it. So I dropped it into the AT folder for you.
Oh, I've got it all set up and queued,
Okay.
and we're ready to go. I just, when you were
All right.
ready, I'm all set. But thank you,
Yeah.
$20 for Sean from the Accord Lord, Sean. Thank you, really appreciate that. All right, wow. I'm
Okay.
ready. I'm ready. I was not.
Are you?
I was not prepared, but now I am getting myself prepared. Okay. So let's get Jesse reading. And let's do
This
it.
is the win. All we get before we go.
Do it.
We almost never cop a W. The fourth estate is subterfuge. Like, what the fuck's a win? So when we got our taste of paradise, joy was in the air, and I just could not let it in. I was Trapper John McIntyre, shrugging off the ceasefire, sulking in my gin. Sitting, waiting for the rapid fire, peace talks on the tapping wire, lost into the wind. Now journalism's greatest sin is putting truth to print. Camp on full parade like happy days are here again, and I was watching from my tent knowing this is not the end. With thoughts that dwell on freedoms that our laws do not defend, who have lost their closest cellmate, only confidant and friend. He is leaving on a jet plane, and they might not meet again. He is off to plead his guilt for thinking we might take a stand, the crime to have assumed the best of man. Now, I'm not VP Harris, so I needn't try pretend that I can see this world unburdened by the truth of what has been, but I don't see a future where they've cashed in our consent, where you could land in Belmarsh for possession of a pen. The leads are buried deep beneath the tongues that spoke dissent, and Jesus, you will not forget the scent. But if I so know our ruling class, then what did I expect? How did this play out within the confines of my head? Did I expect the Davos gang to tearfully repent? Did I expect the CIA to graciously relent, to bow out like, you got us, guess we'll just be on our way, then clean out all their desks and march themselves down to The Hague? Did deep down somehow I still think some rules-based law pervades, in spite of all the evidence that overwhelms my brain? They do not need a precedent to bury us in chains, like they do not need a president to carry out their aims. That corpse up on the stage is our commander just in name, and the ones who pull his strings are running out of things to say. His very touch has desiccated fundamental change, while the donors pick the profits off the bones of Boeing's planes. I have no way of knowing who will place us in our grave, but I know who fronts the cost, and I know who bears the blame. And I know who picks the picture our memorial displays, and I know who quotes the scripture as the mosques go up in flames, and I know who plays the victim as their bulldozing remains. I know who owns our votes, and either way, it's all the same. Then we got a taste of victory, but I just tasted doubt. Like I popped too many red pills, now I'm foaming at the mouth. Now I'm combing through these videos to satisfy myself as though anything I'd find could ever help. I am a stranger in my skin when there's a victory on the breeze. My nerves are pulled so thin I barely touch, much less perceive. But everyone I know is feeling genuine relief. And God, I wish so much that could be me. But deformed by my suspicions, I can't lift my head to hope. I am waiting for the other shoe to drop down on our throats. It is very much a win to see him finally going home. But perhaps the bigger win is not our own. Perhaps we won a battle, but the war is set in stone, buried under Gaza's beaches, refugees, and bones. Perhaps we never stood a chance, and speeches bought and sold. Perhaps they target journalists to stop our history cold. And every anchor drags you down to share what they've been told, the basic facts you need to know to keep you in the fold, shaped by those intent to not see Gazans growing old as the Nazi referendum takes its hold. Suppose one day those anchors cannot find the will to speak. They cannot muster up the gloss to brighten so much bleak. Suppose they reach a point where they can't act like nothing's wrong, just to find their voice was silent all along. Perhaps we'll reach a point where we're surviving off of leaks, where even something whispered beckons welcome of a breach. We'll finally get the picture and we'll understand our needs, but find that we lack access to free speech. For now, I feel no sudden flash of hope grab hold of me, and I don't feel any safer than I did this time last week. But when I saw them, finally free to touch each other's cheek, I think I felt a win, and I will learn to let it be. Perhaps the little victories are the only ones we'll know. Perhaps there is no greater win than finally being home, than holding close a loved one who you lost so long ago. Suppose that's all we get before we go. And that's the win.
Fuck, dude. Okay. Yeah. That's the win, but is it, is it, you know, a few of us were definitely feeling that and wondering, like, yeah, it should feel better than this.
Yeah.
Anna says OMG and beautifully written, of course. Yes, I love this, of course. Yep. And somebody else said that they're a tourist. That's funny. Yeah, goddamn, man, that's right, Sean. I'm with that. Like, I
love you guys.
I need
love
to
you guys so
absorb
much,
that,
seriously.
man. Like,
Right.
are you kidding? Damn.
So I don't know if anyone knows. I'm a huge MASH junkie, and there's an
Trapper
early
John.
episode where Trapper John, they're getting word that there might be a ceasefire, and everyone starts partying, and he's like, bullshit. He's like, we are not lucky enough.
No.
Man, I'm not. And he's just sitting in his tent and drinking gin while they're like doing this little parade through the camp. And he's like Debbie Downer the whole time. And then sure as shit, they're like, oh, hey, guess what? The war is back on. And he's like, I told you, fucker. I told you it was too good to be true, you know? And I didn't want to feel that way, but I was just like, there's no way this is. No, there's something, no, what? Like,
No, look, I was convinced that something was going to have, like, either that plane, they were going to do something to that
for
plane.
sure. There was a million
or,
things, yeah.
You know,
Short term, long term, there's just so much. And
There's
again,
just
I'm like,
no
we
way.
never get good news. Maybe I just genuinely don't know how to process this. Maybe I'm so
right?
burned from all these fucking times that I'm looking for the psyop in everything, you know? And maybe to a degree, if I'm doing that, then they did win to some degree.
Right? Like, if you can never really
man.
enjoy it.
If I get something that we've been wanting so badly, and I get to watch it happen, and the whole time I've got a million different scenarios going on, and I'm trying to figure out who does this benefit to a greater degree than us? What's really going on? And I'm like, fucking stop, you know? It's just, yeah, it was a weird couple of days before I ended up writing that piece. And once I did, then like, yeah, and all of a sudden I could kind of wrap my head around it. But that was, yeah.
So,
yep.
damn. Okay, now we have to actually, like, we got 2 weeks on that, so you can go back and watch this replay, and you can watch this again. I'm sure I'll cut it out, but we don't usually put out the pre-album stuff as singles. We'll wait until he puts that out, and then I'll get those all together, and we'll gather all the performances for all the original first reads like this, and that's wow. So tomorrow night, we've got a really special thing happening at 9:00 Eastern. Reef and Colin today had a conversation with Vanessa Beeley, a 1-hour sit down, and they did,
Nice.
and they said it was really good, and they had some really good questions prepared for her, and she had to stop and think about some of the stuff, and I think you'll really enjoy that. So that'll be 9:00 tomorrow night. And then Politically Homeless Thursday. I don't know. It's a mystery guest. Who's going to join Himbo? We don't know. Or he may just do the show himself for all we know. I don't know. 7 o'clock Friday night, we're going to have Angel in the Afternoon back again. He did a quick hit live tonight about Maduro. And then 10:30 Friday night, we're going to be doing Clip Show and come hang out here. And then wrap it around, and we got Saturday night Pro Wrestling Talk, and 11:30 or 11 o'clock is the Snow Himbo Live. And then Sunday nights is my show with Reef. How do we miss that? And Boats. That's episode 123 coming up Sunday night. Can't believe, really. I mean, we started just doing a show, reading a couple of articles that I didn't think anybody was talking about, and here we are almost 125 episodes later, and that's every Sunday. So it's like... We're coming up on 3 years, you know, wow. And we're over 2 yeyears here. So it's like, you know, it just flies. People don't even realize like how long we've been doing this already. So
yeah, we're episode 45, man. How did that happen?
So
next episode, we haven't done one in a while, but I'm going to do a covers night of like a bunch of my favorite songs.
Nice.
That I've just never played on here. But I'm like, you know what? Yeah, so I'm just going to do, like, a couple of them are, you know, kind of social or political, but yeah, we haven't done one of those nights in a long time, and I'm itching to do one, especially while I'm, you know, we're working on the new album, and I just feel like it'd be a good reset. So I was going to wait until episode 50, but, like, you know what, I want episode 50 to be what we're about, and not a fun little one-off, you know. But we haven't done a covers night, I think, really since
your birthday.
Since Rome's. Oh, did we?
Yeah, we did a bunch on your birthday.
Okay.
And then, but yeah, Bonner Rome
was a blur.
And then Utah, one night in Utah we did that the next week after that next show. And
which I could stand to do another Utah Phillips night, to be honest with you.
Well, we need another Seuss night. So Seuss, yeah. Suta maybe.
Suta. Oh yes, there it is.
All right, one night in Suta. There we go.
Oh God, that's fantastic.
Oh, there we go. Cowboy Kitty finally makes it in.
Oh, it writes itself, man. Good God.
You know, we oh, that's good, Suta. But yeah, so right. we actually did the Seuss pieces this past Friday night. Right? We did 5 Seuss pieces. There will be another one this week. I'm not sure which one if it's gonna be.
Oh yeah, pants check. So well, actually, I don't have pants. I'm wearing dangerously short shorts this evening.
Yes,
but
we're all wearing shorts. Yeah, I can't show that, but yeah, we're wearing shorts. Sorry. But yeah, we'll have another Seuss thing tonight on Friday night on Clip Show, and but yeah, I'd like to do another Seuss in the next couple episodes. My kids have been dying and asking for it. They want Lorax really bad.
I don't have Lorax. That's actually one I've got to still get my hands on.
I have to library that. That's what we've been doing. We got like this big, thick Seuss book. It's like 10 stories.
Oh, nice.
Very cool. All right. So.
All right. That's a wrap.
Yeah. Stick around tomorrow night for Vanessa Bealey live with Reef and Colin. There'll be clips throughout the day tomorrow. There'll be a How Do We Miss That clip, couple of INN News clips, maybe a Politically Homeless clip or a Maple Files clip, Angels clip. Oh my God, we got so much content going out. Holy shit.
Get to work, Indy.
Oh, no. The best part is I don't have to do much. Everybody else is doing the stuff too. So
oh, nice. Okay.
Everybody's stepping up. No, it's not all me. Thank God. Oh my God.
Faster.
No. They let me out of the basement occasionally. All right, everyone. We'll see you soon. Come hang out Friday night, and we'll be back in 2 weeks for another American Tradition. I love you all. Support independent media. Like I say, we need it more than ever. Good night, everyone.
Very true. Be safe.
Who are these people?